3, 2, 1, go. Alright, hey guys. So this is an Ocarina of Time 100% Human-Theory TAS. What this means is this is a run done with lots of save states to basically try to get a perfect run, but not a TAS run. So a TAS usually goes by frame, uses tons of save states to get everything absolutely perfectly with beyond human capabilities. What this run aims to do is just do it perfect like a human would, so nothing that a human couldn't actually do, nothing that human hands are literally not capable of doing like some tasks would do, but just doing everything as good as possible, all the best strats, all that kind of stuff. So basically what a perfect human run would look like. Now, this isn't super perfect. This was my first time doing something like this. There were some times I was kind of lazy with this. So this isn't going to be super perfect. There's going to be some places that aren't all that great, but they're good enough. So whatever. So this was done on the practice ROM, or also known as GZ. The practice ROM is this tool with a bunch of Ocarina of Time practice tools and cheats. And one of the options it has is actually built-in task recording that you can do on console and playback on console. So, and it has actual save states too. It's not quite exactly the same as a save state you get on emulator. It's very close though. It's basically almost the same. So you can actually use save states and input recordings on GZ to make a task on console. This was made on Wii and played back on Wii. So it's pretty cool that's even possible, and so I was able to do something like this. And so for what exactly is human capable, my definition for human capable was definitely not consistent throughout this whole run. There's some things where I probably should have done some strat and I chose not to, and there's some things where I chose to do a certain strat that, might kind of be a little bit unrealistic. But overall it should be fine. There's not anything too insane. And there's not anything too bad, so I think it's generally a good representation of top tier human gameplay, hopefully. So anyway, the run is about to start. So the beginning of the run is definitely the part where it is the least optimized. I was definitely kind of lazy early on. It's still pretty good, but definitely could be a little bit better early on. Sorry for saying the A word, guys. Oh yeah, so I'm using my splits. So I'm comparing to my sum of best splits for my regular speedruns. So the splits right now are not my actual PB splits. These are the best splits I've gotten for each individual segment. Now there's actually a few route changes between what I do in my runs and what I do in this Human-Theory TAS. It's not a huge amount of route changes, only a few specific things, but they will cause some inaccuracies in the splits. So there'll be a time where I'm about a minute behind where I should be for quite a while, but that's just because of a route change. This part's pretty standard, just collecting the rupees. There's one strat here, it's done in any percent, but I usually don't do it in 100% runs just for consistency reasons, but there's different movement you can do to get to this bridge and then you backflip on the fence and just instantly jump slash there. Normally I climb it just because it's a bit more consistent, but that's a little bit faster. Yeah, I'm splitting live. I will split. As long as I remember. So just West Escape here. I actually had to do the backup West Escape, but doesn't really lose time, so whatever. Oh my god, a best split. So that actually probably could have been a little bit better. Again, I was kind of lazy in the beginning, but still good. I think the next segment is very likely not going to be a best split. I was pretty lazy with Cuckoos, so probably not going to be great. Cuckoos are stupid to TAS. Yeah, so this is kind of similar, a similar concept to a segmented run. Although the thing is, with a segmented run, you're only allowed to save using the actual game saves. And this, I'm save stating like literally everywhere I possibly can. Obviously you can't, you know, actually save every few seconds in the actual game. And so segmented runs are still, they're still done in like, you know, 5 to 10 minute chunks generally, when this is probably done in a few second chunks each. So it's, you can kind of compare, but it's not quite the right comparison. I think a better thing to compare it to is something like, yeah, my text boxes have not been super great. I didn't make all my text boxes perfect. I tried to make my text boxes generally pretty good, but they weren't perfect. I'm not going to bother doing the whole thing. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I think a better comparison for this is something like, you guys have been following Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey community does a best theoretical time thing, where they have like all the runners compile like the best times anyone has gotten for any like very small segment of the run, just between one moon to another. And so they eventually compile that all into just one run that has the best recording of every single little tiny segment in the run. And I think they just released a new one a few days ago that was like 57:30 or something. And that's like 2 minutes ahead of the record. And then yeah, some people also do videos of all their sum of best combined. So like, just take all the clips of the splits of their sum of best and then just combine it all into one thing. Just make one run of all the sum of best videos. People have actually been asking me about that specifically for a while, like, you know, if I could make a video of all my sum of best all combined. And the thing about doing it for 100% is it's just so much work for 100% because there's so many splits and it takes so long to do. And not only that, but my best splits are gotten over such a huge period of time, where like I'd have to go back to, some of my best splits are super old, and I have to go back to really old, I'd have to go back to like really old runs to get some of my best splits. It's just way too much work for 100%, but this is basically the next best thing. Oh yeah. So when the reason the screen went black there is because when I'm recording this, or when I'm playing this back, this is, right now it's a recording of a TAS playback on console. And Wii has a thing where like if you leave the controller, if you don't touch the controller for 5 minutes, then the screen goes black. I turned it off later, so it's not going to happen later on in the run, but for this segment I forgot about it. Okay, so these Cuckoos were not super great. I'm probably going to lose time here. Hopefully this is the only time I lose time in the run. Well, I'm actually going to lose time on the next split, but this is because of a route change. So this is like the one major route change from... It's not really major, but like the one significant route change, I guess. from my regular run is, in normal speedruns I do Bomb of the Well in 2 trips. I do the first trip just to get Bomb Shoes, Lens of Truth, and 1 Gold Skulltula, and then I come back later to get 2 more Gold Skulltulas with Boomerang, because these 2 Gold Skulltulas are just super terrible to get with Boomerang. But with this, I end up getting all 3 in the 1 trip. I just got ISG off of that stick pot, so when I did a crouch stab on the pot to get ISG and the stick at the same time. And that ISG is going to be for hovering to the 2 Skulltulas I mentioned. So these 2 Skulltulas, if you don't have Boomerang for them, then you need to hover up to them. And hovering up to them can be kind of stupid. The first one isn't too bad, the second one is super bad. So this is the not too bad one. There's flying pots in this room, you can hover off of them. You can hover up to the Skulltula, do 1 extra hover, it kills the Skulltula, and then you can just grab the token in midair. I also did a cool forward side hop there to grab the token and move closer to the door. This next room is pretty much the reason this isn't done in regular runs. It's not that it's super difficult, it's that it's random because it's based on Keese movement. So I have to manipulate how the Keese attacks me here. So this is the good Keese pattern where he just like goes straight at me after I get to the wall. Then I just have to hover off the Skulltula a few times. And I swing the bottle to actually hit the Skulltula. It's not that the bottle actually hits it, but it moves Link's hitbox with ISG enough so that it hits the Skulltula. And so after this, I normally need to do the Ocarina Dive to the basement, and luckily exiting that door puts the Skulltula, or the green bubble, in just the right position to do the Ocarina Dive fast. I actually messed that up and I had to like do a jank backup, but it worked out and it doesn't lose time because I have to wait for the bubble anyway, so I just took it. So the time loss here is all route change. I should lose about a minute here. This is, you know, fake time loss. I save this time later on in the run. It'll be better to, for this run in particular, it'll be better to pay attention to the splits individually rather than as a whole. Until like 3 hours in. About 3 hours in, then all of the route changes converge, and then it'll be very clear like how far ahead or behind I am. Well, I shouldn't be behind. Okay, yeah, so about a minute behind here. So again, that's all just from getting 2 Skulltulas earlier than I usually would. So here I usually buffer this flying clip, but I chose not to. And then you can also, normally what I do is I swim to the other side of this cage here, and then I clip on the other side. But it's faster to just clip on this side. It's just much more consistent on the other side, because doing it on this side, you have to come up out of the water right as you hit that corner to clip into the room. And also about pause buffering, so I chose not to pause buffer that clip in particular. And so for pause buffering in this run, depending on the trick, I chose either to pause buffer it or not to pause buffer it. It depends on the trick there. Like, that trick in particular, I don't think it's too unrealistic to do it unbuffered. I just pause buffer it in my runs just for consistency. There are some other tricks in the run where, while I don't think it's unrealistic to not pause buffer it, I think realistically you're probably always going to pause buffer it. Like, it's doable without buffering, but I don't think people would actually do it without buffering in runs just because of the very high risk. So there will be other things I do pause buffer in the run, even though technically I don't have to, but like realistically I think people would pause buffer it. So there are some strats while making this task, there's some strats that I thought maybe I should look at again and see if I should add it in my runs. There's still a few strats I'm looking at and I'm going to be working on and seeing if I can realistically add them. I don't have anything yet for sure that I'm going to add. But there's a few things I'm at least looking at. and want to add. Oh, also, I usually get 2 blue rupees in this room, but because I did one trip Bomb of the Well, I got 20 rupees from the first room I had hovered to the Skulltula in, and so that extra 20 rupees just let me skip those 2 blue rupees. Oh yeah, I should talk about the numbers at the bottom. So at the bottom there's an input viewer, so the 2 numbers are X and Y coordinates on the control stick. And then the other buttons you can see are or like A, B, C buttons and stuff. So that's another feature of GZ, the practice ROM. It just has a built-in input viewer, so you can see all my inputs for the entire run right down at the bottom. That RBA there is just to get an extra bottle. RBAing with bottle on C right puts a bottle in your 3rd bottle slot. So now I have 2 bottles instead of 1. Yeah, just copy the inputs and then you'll get world record. Just do exactly what I do here, and you'll get world record. So the starting RNG value is not different. So when you do a recording like this, you have to start with a save state. And when you do a save state, it saves the RNG value. So you'll always start with the same RNG value. And if you start with the same RNG value and you do the same inputs for an extended period of time, then you should get the same changes in RNG. And so the RNG should, in theory, stay synced up the whole time. Sometimes little tiny things can change that, and I did get a few desyncs while making this, but for the most part it should be like that. So this part, I normally hold the chew and wait until it's about to blow up to do that damage boost, but here instead I shield drop it and jump slash on the next frame. That's just a little bit faster, but if you miss it then it's 1 frame, and if you miss it then you lose a lot of time. That's why I generally don't do it in runs. For the guards here, if you do frame perfect side hops the whole way, they can't catch you, so in a task where I can just save state and keep retrying it, I just side hop as much as I want and they can't catch me. In an actual run it's a bit risky. It is done in some other categories like No I Am Wrong Warp, like shorter categories where it is really important to get fast guards. They do that strat where you just slide hop past the guards and hope you don't get caught. But for a really long run like this, I think it's just too risky, so I don't do it in my runs. But it saves quite a bit of time, as shown in the splits. I am behind because of a route change. Why didn't I just use a script for text? This isn't on a PC emulator. This is on Wii. This is all made in GZ, and GZ doesn't really have like scripts for perfect text mashing. So again, I try to get good text, but I wasn't out to get like perfect text. Yeah, this will be on YouTube. I'll have this stream recording with commentary on YouTube, and then I'll also upload the no commentary version. If you're watching this on YouTube, check the description for the no commentary version if you'd like to watch that. Hi, YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it with chat or not. I'll figure it out when it ends. I'll decide if I should have chat or not. If you guys are good, then I'll put chat in. So standard cutscene skip there. You can technically do like a slightly faster version where you just line up with the wall and backwalk and just backflip at a certain time, but I don't think that's really realistic. Yeah, I fixed all the desyncs. Well, one desync I got lucky and it fixed itself half the time. And the other two desyncs I had to manually redo a bunch of segments. I could technically side hop and mark it, but like I think realistically you're not gonna get a good enough angle to side hop and mark it consistently. Oh my god, perfect dot skip. The reason I have splits for Zelda and Master Sword is really just because I don't want to not have a split for Master Sword. That's pretty much the only reason. But I do want to have a split for Zelda because I don't want to wait so long between Lens of Truth and Master Sword to figure out my time. No, I didn't get a best split. Suboptimal. Again, there's definitely places in this where I was kind of lazy and I wasn't doing everything quite as good as I really could have. But I think most will be best splits. Okay guys, thanks for all the subs before this and after this. No, another black screen. Oh well. I think after this segment I turned off the black screen option on my Wii, so it shouldn't happen anymore after this. I didn't even know there was an option until someone told me in chat. I turned it off after Ice Cavern. Yeah, I don't think it happens again until Ice Cavern though. So I think that should be the last time at least. Did I make popcorn for this? No. It's in the red because of a route change. I'll save that time back later on. This is the task put together. I am not playing right now. We are watching a video. Literally pre-recorded. So the reason I wanted to make this, there was a few reasons for it. One, I just generally was curious about, like, not necessarily what time I would get, but more what the run would look like. I just wanted to have, like, a video of what the best possible time would be. Because, like I mentioned earlier, I was kind of inspired by the Mario Odyssey best theoretical time thing, and also, like, people making sum of best split videos. And I want to do something like that, but both of those were probably too much actual work, so this was the next best thing. Plus, I also wanted to mess around more with GZ's tasking capabilities in the first place. I just think it's so cool that you can make a task on console now. And so I wanted to just mess with it more. But yeah, that's mostly it. Also, I thought it would just be fun. Thought it'd be a cool thing to do. It'll also probably be good for, like, future route comparisons. Like, if I ever want to time something against, like, the best possible strat, then I can just refer to this video. I don't have to, like, look up a PB, see if my PB does it well. Turns out my PB sucks and has a mistake in it, so I have to record it manually and actually time it. So I think it'll be a good reference for future route changes too. Oh yeah, slightly faster Hess there. I actually used to do that Hess and then I stopped doing it, and for some reason when I was trying to do it in this run it was really hard, even though I used to be okay at it. Well, I was okay at it, but obviously I wasn't good enough at it to, like, consistently do it in runs more because I stopped doing it, but whatever. Maybe I'll go back to doing that. Just getting the Poe as I fall into the grave there just saves a little bit of time. So for the Dampe race, the best time you can get for the Dampe race with the fastest overall strats is 46. I was kind of lazy with this, and tassing this Dampe race is super annoying. So I ended up just settling for 47. I'm a fraud. Cool little side hops there that probably don't save time. Hey, I almost got a 46. The time loss at bottle was because my cocos were bad, and I didn't feel like tasking a better Koko segment. Me being lazy. I stopped being as lazy later on into the run. I think the early part I'm kind of lazy, but as I go on, I'm more focused on like actually getting good segments. Are there any flashy stunts or skips I put in here for fun that don't save time but just looks cool? Yes. There's probably one part in particular some of you may know that is well known of me doing that will be even better this run. Oh yeah, that text box was up an unusually long amount of time because I save stated during the text box, and like when you load the save state, there's lag after it, and so like I guess I didn't realize how long the text box was up because of the lag. So more non-optimal gameplay, but hopefully it'll be cleaned up soon. Got a good dead hand spawn here. You just want them to spawn decently close and not near the hands. No, you cannot get ISG from the text from the walls. Hey look, another best split. I'm 3 for 3 so far, or three best splits, 3 non-best splits. Although one of them was from a route change, so it's acceptable. So really like 4 out of 6. That's good. So just doing RBA there. The one with Poe on C right was bomb to refill. The one with Egg on C right gives me glitched Deku Stick upgrade, glitched Deku Stick capacity. Time to go up and down the stairs 17 times. You can actually lose a surprisingly large amount of time just going up and down the stairs because it's really easy to just miss one and then your movement's all kind of screwed up. And so doing that just despawns the Sunsong gravestone, so I can get into Sunsong grave quickly without having to blow it up with Zelda's Lullaby. Cool strat there, you can hookshot the torch right before the cutscene. It actually barely even saves time. I think it only saves like a few frames. But it's cool. First try. bit of a faster setup than usual for that hiss. Enemy RNG spawns, for the most part, don't really matter too much, aside from stuff like Dead Hand, where it's just a matter of reloading the room until I get a good spawn. And even then, Dead Hand did not take a lot of time to manipulate. So for the most part, enemy RNG spawns didn't really matter too much. So for the second Dampe race, getting a 46 is much harder because you don't have sword. It is possible, but very difficult. So this one I just settled with a 47 and didn't feel bad about it, like the other one. I pull out Chew pretty much immediately here. In my normal runs, I usually wait like a second or two to pull out the Chew just so I have more time to get into position. So that's a little bit faster. Yeah, you can get a 45 if you start from the bottom, but then starting, like, you know how there's a platform at the beginning you start from and you have to jump off that platform? If you start from the bottom of that platform, then you can get a faster race time, but it's slower overall. So that's why it's not done. Barely a best split. Okay, so this segment right here is actually spliced in from later on. So when I was first making this, I forgot that for doing the one-trip bomb the well route, you actually need to get the heart piece from the guy on the roof right now. And I forgot about it until like halfway through the run. So this is technically spliced from the segment like from the windmill right before this. So don't pay attention to my heart count for the run, because for most of the run I'll have one less heart piece than I should have, and then like later on near the end I'll magically get a full heart while only collecting 3 heart pieces. Don't pay attention to it, not important, but you know. Okay, now it's back to normal. Now this is from the actual segment that had the windmill part in it. You can Hess off the Cuckoo Lady there. It's kind of awkward to Hess there, because a lot of the time you'll target her, and then targeting her will mess up the Hess. So what you do is you will like try to have the Chew explode on the very side of her, and then you'll usually avoid targeting her. At one point I was trying to do that in runs, but then I kept messing it up, and then I eventually took it out again. I might look into it again, but it's still like, it doesn't actually save that much time. It only saves like a second or two. So like it's nice, but it's not like the biggest time save that I absolutely need to put in. How large is the save state in memory? I think it's like roughly 100 to 150 kilobytes. I think, if I remember correctly. There's only enough room for 3 save states on the practice ROM. That actually was kind of annoying to make the task with, because normally when you're making tasks on emulator, you can save like as many save states as you want. Most emulators have like 9 or 10 quick save state slots, And this only has 3 save state slots, and one of them I need for the replay to work, so essentially I really only have 2. So that was kind of annoying to work with. No, dude, not a best segment. What did I do wrong? Oh, it was because of the roof guy heart piece. Okay, no, that's a fake not best segment because I had to get the roof guy heart piece. So only losing 2 seconds when I had to get the roof guy heart piece actually means I would have gotten a best segment by quite a bit. So yeah, that's fine. So yeah, again, that's a route change inaccuracy. So there's actually a slightly faster strat you can do here, where you use another chew to kill that Skulltula while you're grabbing the first Skulltula. But it's kind of risky because it can often lead to a soft lock if you collect the token at the same time as the other Skulltula dies. So a lot of people don't use it, and it doesn't even save that much time in the first place, so I chose not to use it here. So there's another minor route change here, where I grab the Skulltula now instead of later. So in normal runs I don't grab the Skulltula until like more than halfway through. But you can do this, you can grab the Skulltula right now, and then do a double chew mega flip. So the reason it's not done right now in regular runs is because you have to wait on the chew timer to do the backflip or to do the mega flip. And you don't want to like pull out the chew after grabbing the Skulltula. But if you instead do a double chew, what that is you pull out a bomb chew. Oh no, the dark screen again. You pull out a bomb chew, you shield, and then 1 frame after you shield you press bomb chew again. And it'll make Link send 2 bomb chews really quickly. And most of the time, if those 2 bomb chews meet a corner, then they'll blow up on each other. And so that's a fast way to make the chews explode really quickly and do a mega flip off it. I think double chew things are really dumb, like it's a really awkward input. And so I don't do that in regular runs. I do a few double chew things. I forgot the split. So again, that time loss is from route change stuff again. I do a few double chew things in some runs, but that one in particular I don't really think is worth it. But again, it's still a good strat, it saves a few seconds for later on. There are some things I'm looking into incorporating my regular runs, but nothing for certain, and most likely very few will be added. Yeah, rolling is faster. For the fairy fountains here, as adult it's faster to roll to the place you need to play Zelda's Lullaby, and as child it's faster to backwalk. Because as child, backwalking speed is faster than... Or wait. Yeah, backwalking as adult is faster than backwalking as child. Or no. Rolling and backwalking is faster... Wait, I'm forgetting how to explain this. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, rolling is faster as adult, backwalking is faster as child. What about side hopping? As child, side hopping is faster than rolling and backwalking, but usually, because realistically you need to be perfect with your side hops to save time, usually side hopping everywhere is not the regular speedrun strat, although TASs do side hop everywhere. As adult, side hopping is slightly slower than backwalking and side hopping, or slightly slower than backwalking and rolling, but side hopping is still situationally good, so you'll still see side hops a lot. Just not everywhere like child in the TAS. TASing is the same speed as child and adult. No, this won't break my sum of best time because I made a separate split file. This is a copied version of my splits. Pretty normal deck nut dupe here, nothing really special. I just have to disable them being able to sell me the item and then have them both try to give me the item at the same time. And they give me 2 nut upgrades. If you press A during a Hess, nothing happens. You can't press A during a Hess, it just doesn't do anything. Another best split. So the glitch state with the ladder, you have to get on a ladder and then get knocked off of it by a bomb without actually regularly leaving the ladder. And so what that does is it puts you in a state where your A button still says down, like as if you were on a ladder to get off a ladder. And so you're still like kind of on, in a glitch state where you're kind of on the ladder but not really. And in that glitch state you're able to walk on slippery slopes, and that's why I could walk on the slope there and get out of bounds. Did this teach me a lot about how to splice properly? Probably not. My splices in this run are probably not that great. I don't collect the heart piece there because it just happens to be slightly faster as child. I have to come back here later as child, then it's just faster to get it then. Okay, so I kind of messed up here. There's 2 different strats here. One, you could do this mega slide hop that I did right there. And the normal strat I do in speedruns is I equip hover boots and just go behind the waterfall from the other side. And I was going to do the hover boot strat out of habit, and then I just remembered, oh wait, I should actually do the mega slide hop, because it's the only reason I don't do the mega slide hop is it wastes more time of day, so there's a higher risk of not making it into Zora's domain on time. But in this case, obviously there's no risk there. So reading that sign there, reading that sign is to unfreeze King Zora. In normal runs, I read a different sign. I read that sign next to the torch over there. But it's faster to read that sign closer to the tunnel. But it's kind of awkward. You have to read it. You have to like end the Hess and then immediately read the sign, and it's just kind of awkward to read it. and get the right camera angle to still unfreeze King Zora as well. Will this run look legit if the bottom portion of the screen wasn't in view? It would probably look legit for most of it, but the splice at Ocarina game would be super obvious. And also, it's probably something you could easily detect with like audio analysis. Like, there's a few places where, because I have to splice all these segments together. This is not like one continuous task. It's multiple segments spliced together. And you could probably very easily do audio analysis to figure out the splice points. I had to do this in multiple segments because while tasking on GZ is super cool, it has limitations. One, it can't record through resets, and obviously this run resets a few times. Unless you're on N64. The N64 version of GZ actually can record through resets. But Wii is stupid and won't let you do that. And then the other thing is, it has a limited amount of time it can record for. It can only record for like roughly an hour. Oh wow, this is a big one. So, yeah, GZ recording can only record for roughly an hour. And so I split this up into like 30-minute segments, just to be safe. Why don't I just play like this during my runs? I don't know, maybe I should try it one day. Yeah, no magic pot. So in runs, I usually get the magic pot there, just for safety so that I don't get the magic pot somewhere else in the run. Because there are other places in the run where you could get a magic drop for the first time and it'll just mess you up. And I get it there just so that it doesn't mess me up later on. But you can actually go through the whole run without getting a single magic drop. And so I thought, you know, for the purposes of this run, I probably should just go through the whole run without getting a magic drop. I had some really, like, sketchy looking, but mostly good icebergs there. So time-wise, like, for the splits, the run won't actually be synced until Light Arrow cutscene, which is like almost 3 hours in. So it'll actually be a while before the splits are completely synced. So I do a new strat here where I normally take damage off that bomb and then use another bomb to start the Hess. But instead I use that same bomb to start the Hess and grab the heart piece. And this just lets me, you know, Hess immediately. I have to take extra damage at Iron Boots, but pretty sure it's still worth it. Got the double gainer. This part was really annoying, so I had to manipulate the keys. I was trying to get it so that I could avoid killing the keys, but I'm pretty sure I could have, but the keys were just being super dumb, so I just killed them. So because of that Hess off that bomb I used to get the heart piece there, or earlier, I have to do extra damage here. But not a big deal. And then I can also just So normally in runs, I try to press pause and A there at the same time, as like an option select where, if I press both, oh, I didn't split. Whatever, that was a late split, but whatever. So I press pause and A at the same time, so if I miss one input, then the other will cover me. But there, I just only press A, because, you know, I don't need to pause. It was a 14-second best split, nice. Dang, really? I can still save that much time in Ice Cavern? Although, a lot of that is probably the icebergs. The icebergs were, like, super good. Can I show PB splits too? There's PB splits. Oh yeah, the magic pot skip, forgot about that. So you can kind of realistically do this without a setup, but I decided I should probably just do the setups for tricks in this run. So it looks like there's an extra pause here, that one pause right there. That pause is actually necessary because when you unpause while on ice, the ice physics are disabled for 1 frame, and that's actually part of the setup. However, like a day or two ago, there's actually a brand new setup that cuts out that pause. And this was after I already recorded this segment, so I didn't do it here. But there is a brand new setup for that cuts out that 1 extra pause, so it's a little bit faster, which I'll probably end up doing in runs. You can't weird shot into the ice because when you do a weird shot, you don't actually go underground. It's only the camera that goes underground. Link does not. Weird clips don't put you underground. Weird clips just allow you to move through rounded collision. And there are just certain cases, like the weird clip into the silver rock in Zora's Fountain, where going through rounded collision makes you grab a ledge. I have to grab this fairy here for Jabu Wrong Warp. Gotta sit here and take some damage. More setup for the wrong warp. No, this is not a segmented speedrun. Segmented speedruns do not use save states. It's kind of a low TAD, yeah. Although low TADs are more for demonstrating runs that are too difficult for a human to really do. And this is more like, obviously this is meant to be, you know, human capable. Low TAS, yeah. And of course, I can't not do Red Bruto. Have I ever missed that jump over to the pre-boss door room? Yes, I have, and it sucks. I'm using Boomerang as adult with Equip Swap. So what you do is you have the cursor over the item you want to equip. You go to a different screen on the item screen. You go to either to equipment or the map screen. Then go back to the item screen, and on the first possible frame, you press up right or up left, or up or down right or down left, depending on what screen you're coming from. You press that direction and a C button at the same time, and it'll equip the item the cursor was over, but on the item slot of the first slot the cursor moves to. And so that way it equipped Boomerang over Furo's Wind. So Furo's Wind is an item I can equip normally, so there's no issues with equipping it, but it equips Boomerang instead. So here, I intentionally wait a tiny bit for doing that setup because you actually can go too fast there. So I had to wait a little bit just to make sure it actually works. You have to wait until Ruto is fully loaded in the warp. So I die on the edge of the blue warp, and this lets me do this thing where every time I stop moving I get dragged back to Ruto. And then this is so I can die again, and the second time I die, I'll die with Ruto's text box up. And then I'll be able to move around with the text box up after this. And then the moment I close this text box is when the blue warp starts. So I close the text box right as I want to start the setup for the blue warp, or for the wrong warp. Get out of bounds, side hop, hit the loading zone from behind. Wrong warp to Dodongo's Cavern. It's definitely not the hardest wrong warp in general. It's probably the hardest wrong warp done in this run. Although even then, it's not too bad. But there's other wrong warps in other runs that are significantly harder. Off the top of my head, I think the hardest wrong warp I can think of might be... well, actually, this probably isn't the hardest wrong warp, but one thing I can think of is that same Jabba wrong warp from Jabba to DC as Child. It's super difficult as Child. So right here for this Furo's Wind Dive, I normally use ISG for it, just because you want to be on the very edge so that the Tektite can push you off. You don't need ISG for it, so I didn't use it here. Although it is kind of dumb to do it without ISG. Yeah, I know there's a lot of bad text boxes. I wasn't sure like what I should really do about text boxes. Like I didn't want to go through and get every single text box frame perfect, right? Like that's stupid. I'm not gonna waste that much time for text boxes. And plus, like it's supposed to be human, you know, human theory. Human's not gonna get every frame perfect text box. But I don't know, maybe I should have. Text boxes are stupid. Being human in 2019, lol. So there's a slight strat difference here. Usually I'd equip bombs here, but I don't and just leave shoes equipped. That's for the next room. I also use hover boots here. This is also part of the strat change. This is actually something found like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or so. It's kind of doable in a real run. I'm not doing it myself, but I think a few other runners are either doing it or considering doing it. But coming up, you're supposed to open a door from a super slide, because there's a door, well I'll explain it more when I get there, but there's a door that you normally have to raise the water to open, but you don't want to raise the water to open it. So right here, the old strat was you start a super slide here and equip hover boots, and near the end of your super slide you would turn around and open this door. But instead, the new strat is you use a bomb chute to hover right in front of the door and open it from a hover, like this. You have to hookshot there, fill off a bomb chute, hover, and just open the door like that. It's really cool and saves a good amount of time, but it's also kind of dumb because it's easy to just mistime it and then the chew just knocks you back and you just fall down. And there is a backup. You can also fall too far down and not be able to open the door. And there is a backup for that, but the backup requires a chew. And as you see right now, I have 0 chews. Because that trick would use your last chew optimally. So there's a few issues with it. I probably won't do it myself, but it's not, you know, too unrealistic to do. And also as a result of that trick, I'm not using Deku Nuts on Dark Link. Although actually, according to Danny, Deku Nuts probably shouldn't even be used on Dark Link in the first place. So, as you'll see how I do the Dark Link fight right here. So I do this strat for the Dark Link fight where you just start the fight by side hopping through and then just do the slide slash strat. Because you can move towards the door with the slide slash strat, which is good. More time save. Almost ahead, guys. Another strat here that I don't do. So I usually do entrance point glitch here by crouch stabbing the door and equipping hover boots, but instead you can also just do it by getting hit with a bomb right as you open the door. And that saves equipping hover boots and then also unequipping hover boots. So it's actually a pretty decent time save, but it is frame perfect. So it's kind of dumb. Not the hardest thing in the world, but it's a bit awkward. Now it's time for the weird shot gauntlet. Yeah, you could say that like crouch stabbing and then equipping hover boots is frame perfect, so then doing the bomb strat should be the same thing. So I might look into it. But you also have to wait for the bomb to blow up, and if you miss the bomb blowing up, then you have to wait for another bomb fuse, whereas if you miss the crouch stab, you just do another crouch stab. Yeah, and also the pause buffering there sucks. Yeah, it's definitely not hard, it's just a matter of consistency. Oh, the desyncs weren't fixed, I just had to redo some segments and splice in some stuff for things that would refuse to sync no matter what. Almost ahead, guys. Almost ahead after a route change that cost me a minute early on, and I haven't saved that minute yet. So for this cutscene skip, I usually pause buffer it, but you don't have to. So no pause buffer here. It's not too risky to pause buffer. It's not too risky to pause buffer if you're good at mashing, but I suck at mashing. I tried to do a fast weird shot setup there and I messed it up, but I messed up the setup, so I just kind of like manually aligned it and it worked out. Good fight. What is a strat? A strat is a strategy. I have to kill that Baba for the stick, because I need 2 sticks later on, and I had 1 stick before that. You have to move to the side there to avoid Navi. Yeah, no C up for that roll at the top of the block room. Minor time save. I think this Stalfos fight's really good. Good fight. And I'm right in front of the chest. Ahead. The glitch quiver is, so all the stuff, the weird stuff with the bow right now, I got a glitch quiver earlier when I RBA'd Kajiro, which is why I only have a max of 20 arrows here. So this is actually a new-ish Forced Temple Bosky skip. I actually did start doing that in runs very recently. A few seconds faster than the old method. But the stuff with the bow, so I got a glitch quiver earlier from RBA'ing Kajiro. And having that glitch quiver is the reason why that bow chest cutscene was faster than usual. And then that's also why I needed to pick up arrows from the pot, because when I have that glitch quiver, it doesn't actually fill up my quiver when I get the bow. It only gives me +1 arrow. So I have to go over to those pots and get max arrows. Yeah, only having 1 arrow. If I have 0 arrows and it gives me +1, I'm only gonna have 1 arrow, and I can't really do stuff with 1 arrow. So doing RBA here, this just gives me a bomb chew refill. Bow modifies bomb chews, just gives me 29 bomb chews again. So when he comes out of the painting, if he moves really close to you and you have ISG active and you shoot him with the bow makes him spin his staff, which makes him vulnerable, and if he's close enough to you, then ISG will hit him and knock him down really quickly. And then after a few seconds, he's always going to get up again, but then if I shoot the bow again and make him vulnerable again, then ISG can knock him down a second time and then just kill him from there. And I have to make sure to end that fight with exactly 13 arrows for a bottle adventure later. Having 13 arrows is gonna get me Ferora's Wind on my B button. Thanks, Reblin. The task macro starts from wherever you saved a save state from. So you have to save a save state before starting it, and then the save state saves the RNG value. So it always starts from that RNG value. The dying here skips this cutscene. So I just equipped a fairy, and the reason that fairy is not reviving me is because it's a fairy in a duped bottle. It's not in one of the 4 main bottles. And a fairy in a duped bottle can only revive you if it's both equipped on a C button and you have another fairy in a real bottle, which I don't. And so the fairy will not revive me. The fairies... Oh, I forgot to split. I'm gonna skip that split because it was a long time ago. So I actually should have split there. That was actually going to be a big best split. The fairy's actual purpose is RBA. Sorry guys, I'll split here for sure. You'll only have to wait another minute for the next split. The quick split. How am I missing splits? Gee, maybe because I'm not used to splitting when not doing a speedrun. Maybe because I'm busy talking to you guys, explaining what's going on. There's your split. Are you happy now? Oh yeah, so RBing with Fairy on C right and catching bugs gives me 29 Deku Sticks. Fairy modifies Deku Stick count and bugs is 29. So I really need those Deku Sticks for later. Later on in the run I'm not going to have a sword, and so Deku Stick is going to be my weapon of choice. And so I need a lot of them. I actually have been meaning to try out the auto splitter and I keep putting it off. I need to go try out the auto splitter soon. These routes don't fully merge until Light Arrow cutscene. It'll partially merge after Dampe. How does the auto splitter work? The new auto splitter works on images. So like you give it an image and when it sees that image from your capture card, then it'll split. And it's a bit more advanced than that. You can have it like check for parts of an image. So like it's more accurate, so it doesn't like, you know, if an image isn't exactly perfect, then, and there's like one tiny thing that's off, then it doesn't split. It's more advanced than that, so it won't like miss splits for dumb reasons like that. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I need to try it out soon. Yeah, I know the total time save, but I'm not going to tell you guys. Although if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, you'll already know. Rolling around there is hard. So I do a double chew Hess here. I usually don't do that in runs, because it's, again, I kind of hate double chew stuff. But it saves like, it'll actually only save like a second here. It's actually not a whole lot of time. But it is faster, and it's definitely realistic to do, even if it's kind of dumb. No, if I roll around the other side of the fountain, there's that dancing couple, and you talk to them if you try to roll there. Wow, I can't believe I knew exactly which Cuckoos to pick up. Perfect Cuckoo game. Good Hess. How many attempts was Cuckoo game? A lot more than it needed to be. How many attempts was boat? Actually not too many, considering what I did on the boat. Did this task take longer or shorter than expected? I expected it to take about a week, and it took me 5 days, so slightly shorter. Okay, so I do a cool strat here. So normally I throw this one chew down there to hit a gold skulltula, and then I chew 000 here. And chewing 000 there, it kills 2 skulltulas. The coordinate's 000. It kills 2 skulltulas far away, this one and another one. But I actually did a Hess off of the bomb chew that hits the 000 skulltulas. And it's really hard because when you kill a Skulltula like that, there's a lot of lag. Killing the Skulltula causes lag, and that lag makes it really hard to start a Hess. But you can do it, so I actually Hessed off of the explosion that killed the Skulltulas, which saves a good amount of time, and is really cool. Also, a neat little strat here where you just climb the boxes and then jump slash in without any kind of real setup. I actually used to do that in runs for a while, and then I kept failing it, so I took it out. No, I did get it in a few runs, but I definitely failed it more often than I got it. Oh dude, my fishing is sick. I have such good fishing. No, I don't do a mega flip there because then you'll make it to the fishing pond really fast and the fish will start jumping. I guess considering it is, you know, a task, I could have managed with the fish jumping, but I chose not to. So I guess in theory, could have saved 4 extra seconds here. Fast fish. I have to go in the water there just to hold Z to do the gold scale glitch. You have to hold Z in the water to get gold scale here. That's supposed to be your adult reward, but doing that glitch gives you it as child. Hold water in the Z, yeah. I forget the exact reason why it happens. It's like some kind of weird thing that has to do with flags. Another fast fish. Oh my god, dude, this fishing is so fast. The Japanese version measures the fish in centimeters. It's kind of weird. It's centimeters for Japanese, but pounds in English. So for RBA here, I have to do this kind of RBA a lot in the run. And I decided to always do it with one pause, which I think is realistic because technically the setup can make that RBA a 2 pause or 2 frame window, which is generally something you can easily do without buffering. But when you jump the bugs can move Link, and when the bugs move Link, it not only can shorten the window to 1 frame, but also change what frame it is. And so I decided it's realistic to just always do 1 pause there, so I do all those RBAs with 1 pause. So when I first got here, I actually got a desync right at this part. Turns out if you save state during Din's fire, the save state doesn't save certain information properly that's necessary for the playback to work properly, and so I got a desync here and it took me like an hour to figure out. It turns out it was actually like a 50-50 desync where one time it would desync and then the next time it would sync properly and it would go back and forth. So I had to just play it back so that it failed, and then play back the next, and then the next playback it would work properly. So that was kind of dumb. Nice little Hess all the way to the top. So this is a new strat I actually just recently started implementing in runs. where I backwalk here and use the chew on the wall to easily hit the gold Skulltula. And then I also pull out a chew here to mega flip into super swim across the water. So the thing I did with King Zora was called ledge cancel. You climb a small ledge and have your shield hit right as you're done climbing the small ledge, or right before you're done climbing the small ledge. And it causes this weird camera glitch, and also allows you to move through rounded collision. And rounded collision stuff like, I forgot a split. Rounded collision stuff like NPCs, like King Zora, rocks, stuff like that. So for these bugs, they have a random amount of time that they can take before digging. So I tried to make sure that they always dug either instantly or almost instantly. So this hover is something that you technically could kind of do without pause buffering, but realistically it's super dumb to do it without pause buffering. I also do one less hover than usual. I usually do 3 hovers there for safety, but you can get it in just 2. I actually should have done a Hess here. You can Hess really early on the bridge, like right after you are finished with the hover, and Hess all the way in. It's kind of risky to start the Hess that early, but I think it could have been realistic for this run, but I just didn't do it, and then I probably should have done it, but whatever. You know, the gold Skulltula does not have a random amount of time to come out after the bugs dig. The gold Skulltula always comes out, I forget the exact timing, but I think it's like roughly 7 seconds after the bug digs. But the one thing about it is that the bug has to dig in the exact center. The bugs can dig like in the soil, but not really in the center. And if they do that, then the gold Skulltula won't come out, and it's super dumb. So I actually did time the fastest way to void out in the lava there from grabbing the heart piece. And it turns out rolling to grab the ledge and then dropping from the ledge actually is the fastest way. Faster than like side hopping off or backflipping off. Okay, here is probably one of the coolest strats that I do in this run that I don't do in regular runs. So normally the strat I do here is after lighting the torches, I go up to the 2nd floor and use a bomb chew on the Goron on the 3rd floor, and then I throw a bomb into this pot. Instead, I'm going to use a chew to blow up the pot, and then also use another chew, and that chew is going to go all the way to the top and hit the rolling Goron while the pot is spinning. And so this saves like an entire cycle for the bomb pot. And then I can Hess right up to the Goron for the bomb bag, and then from that Goron I can Hess straight to the rock maze. Now this strat is this is like one of the more borderline strats that about like how realistic it really is. It's kinda like, I'm not really sure if it's realistic to do in a real run, but it's kinda there. Also, the reason that split wasn't more time save is because most of the time save from that strat is actually coming up on the next split. So I'll actually save more time on the next split because of doing that stuff. No, it's not a good idea to just try it in a run and just do a backup if you fail it, because if you try it, and you fail it, you're going to be on the bottom floor, wasting an entire pot cycle, and you have to bomb the rolling Goron when he's under that tunnel. And if you wait too long and he leaves that tunnel, you have to wait for him to go all the way around Goron City again, because he doesn't give you the bomb bag if he's not in that tunnel when you bomb him. So it is not at all a good idea to just try it and see if it works. Because if you fail it, you are probably in very big trouble. Actually, probably could have done an earlier Hess there. The reason I normally wait so long to start that Hess is because that slope is really steep, and it cancels your Hess if you go down it. Unless you go down it at a really wide angle, like towards the wall, then as long as you like use the wall to slow yourself down, then you won't drop the Hess, but kind of awkward. Why don't I just kill the Skulltula without the bomb? I have nothing else to kill the Skulltula with. I don't have a sword on B right now. Bomb is my only weapon to kill it. So this part is going to be another route change because of one-trip Bomb of the Well. So since I already finished up Bomb of the Well earlier, I'm going to do some Kakariko stuff now and then go to Dampé. And then Dampé will be the end of the child segment, where normally I would go from Kakariko to Dampé, back to Kakariko, then Bomb of the Well. So when I climb up here, I do this Mega Flip over to the tree, grab this guy, and then I also use a Chew to kill the Gold Skulltula on the construction site, and then just boomerang the Skulltula from down here, and grab the token right before I enter the house. And there's 4 rewards I need to get here. I actually didn't realize this until I already finished the whole recording and was watching this back. I think it's this reward right here, this Bomb Tree reward. I should not have actually gotten this, because I just realized those Bomb Trees that I just got are actually going to be deleted, because I'm about to RBA when I go back to the graveyard. So those Bomb Trees are actually completely useless. And the only reason I realized it is because at the end of the run, I ended with exactly 0 bomb shoes, and in my normal runs, I usually have extra bomb shoes, and I was wondering, like, why did that happen? And then I realized it's because those bomb shoes just completely went to waste. So this time loss is because of the route change. That is entirely fake time loss. I'm going to save a massive amount of time when I get to Adult 2, because I don't have to do Bomb of the Well, since Bomb of the Well is already done. That's where that minute time save is finally going to come in. And so that also, that extra Chew pack that I got actually also means that one-trip Bomb of the Well saves even more time than we initially thought, because you don't have to get that reward. So wow, first try Dampé, shocker. Can't believe I got first try Dampé with save states. So actually, using save states, it took me 14 tries to get first try Dampé. So technically 14th try. Cool little strat here to run the Chew on the wall to kill that Skulltula really quick. Oh yeah, so normally when I split for Dampé, I split when I leave the graveyard, but since I don't leave the graveyard in this, I'm just going to skip the split entirely. Cool strat here where you grab the grave right as the boomerang is reaching Link, and it freezes Link, but it doesn't freeze the grave, so you like clip into it and you can enter the grave faster. Yeah, it's a really cool strat. And I have to drink the Poe just to empty the bottle. I need the empty bottle later on to catch a big Poe. A Poe has a random chance to make you lose hearts or gain back hearts. I wasn't even paying attention to what result I got there, but it doesn't always take away hearts. And so this is actually where the child section ends with the Bomb of the Well one-trip route. What's everyone what-facing for? Was there a weird sound? Whoa, time save. Oh, the redid, okay. So again, that time save is mostly Bomb of the Well one-trip time save. Actually, I don't know, that seems like it's more than just that. I guess also the Goron City time save. Like a combination of both. So yeah, for everyone asking why I was a minute behind early on, that is the reason. Because it saves time now. And then also remember, for that time loss, I also got an extra heart piece that in my best splits, my best splits do account for the heart piece, I think. Okay, never mind. No, I do mean it'll take 3 hours. There's still another route change that isn't fully accounted for. It's like kind of accounted for, but not really. Where I got an extra heart piece in the graveyard, that Sun Song heart piece that I got isn't in the current route, or like, I mean, you do get it in the current route, but like the way these splits are set up, it's still based on an older route before you did that. But once I get to the Light Arrow cutscene, the route will be completely synced up. Like, when I get to Light Arrow cutscene, you'll see me gain another minute out of nowhere. And that minute is going to be... Or actually, wait, I don't know if it's going to be compared to Sum of Best. I don't know, it's weird. The weird time save to think of. I break some sticks there because later on I'm going to need to break all my sticks, and it's just better to waste sticks during some part where there's some downtime. Yeah, so the breaking sticks looks like sword because Adult's item that is supposed to break is Giant's Knife. That's the only weapon that Adult Link has that's supposed to break. And so when a Deku Stick breaks, he's not supposed to be using Deku Sticks, but when it does break, it just plays the Giant's Knife breaking animation. Well, I said Furrow's Wind earlier in Lake Hylia, so I can use Furrow's Wind to skip this cutscene. Just use Furrow's Wind right on the edge of the blue warp. Warp away, skip the cutscene. I guess I should have mentioned I got Furrow's Wind on B from Bottle Adventure by having Bottle on B as adult, going back to child, and then going back to adult. And then it puts a different item on my B button based on my C right item as child, which was Ruto's Letter, which points to my arrow count, which was 13, and 13 is Furrow's Wind. That Skulltula token, I didn't miss the token. I pressed Ocarina right before grabbing the token. And that delays grabbing the token until I hit the ground. But by the time I hit the ground, the token is off screen, and so the game can't give it to me until it's on screen again. And so I'm gonna have it get on screen as I shoot this tree with the hook shot, and it's gonna interrupt the hook shot. And when the hook shot gets interrupted, I do a big jump. And this jump lets me get to fire arrows quickly. I do a faster setup there than usual. Good split. Splitting's hard, man. The jump height is set. The jump height is based on how high you aim with the hook shot. The higher you aim, the bigger your jump will be. So you have to kill that Gwei. That Gwei is gonna knock you off the ladder like 99% of the time. This was made using a lot of save states, but this is a playback of the entire run with all in one go. It's made using save states though. Yeah, for Scarecrow's song, you don't want to use the same note over and over again because there's a cooldown between playing the same note over and over again, whereas two different notes alternating, you can play them right after each other. So that's why you don't want to use the same note over and over again for Scarecrow's song. The cooldown is only like a quarter second or so. It's not a whole lot, but it's significantly more than just pressing two different buttons. Spinning the C-stick is theoretically faster. It's just kind of awkward because the C-stick can be kind of dumb, and if you spin it too fast, then you might miss an input, and if you spin it slow, then you're not really going that fast in the first place. So like in theory, spinning the C-stick should be good, but just because of the C-stick not being the greatest, it can kind of just mess up. Yeah, I think making this was good practice. I will split when it is time. Time for an exciting part of the run. This part I just have to do a equip swap to dupe my Poe a lot. Just give him one Poe 10 times. Riveting gameplay. This chick was found in OOT first, and then confirmed to work in MM immediately after. Don't forget to split. You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will forget to split. You can't tell me what to do. There we go. Yeah, so in this game, all the grottos are in the same map, just like in MM, but alternate exit does not work between grottos, because in this game, when you exit a grotto, the game just... when you enter a grotto, the game saves your coordinates, and then when you exit a grotto, it just puts you at those coordinates, rather than the grottos being a true loading zone. But in MM, they actually changed it to, you know, the way they do in MM, where it actually does, you know, save it as a loading zone. And so when you leave a grotto, it's based on the actual loading zone of leaving it, and not just some random coordinate save. So, unfortunately, alternate exit does not work in OOT. Yeah, that's why some like positioning stuff can be awkward when leaving a grotto, is because it doesn't, because your exact coordinates when you enter the grotto matter, and so you can have different coordinates when exiting it. Oh yeah, I probably should have explained that that Skulltula kill. So I dropped the bomb like right as I started that first test, and that bomb hit 000 as I loaded the next room, and so it killed the Skulltula in the next room, even though it wasn't loaded in the first room. And right there I did bomb OI with that switch. That bomb OI is actually kind of awkward, but it's pretty cool and actually does save a good amount of time. So like, a certain number of frames after the bomb blows up, if you press a cutscene item, in that case it was Furor's Wind, then you'll play the ocarina, and so you do that right before you hit the switch. I'm gonna look into that bomb OI for runs. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it yet, but definitely want to at least try it. Just wasting more sticks for later again. Does bomb time stop exist in OOT? I don't actually know. I think no. So I do a slightly different equip here. Normally I would equip Ocarina over bombs, but instead I'm equipping it over sticks. This is because I'm going to do a different strategy for entering Shadow. So using Fro's Wind here, wrong works me to let Nocturne of Shadow cutscene. So that also gives me the Goron Ruby. So I get the Goron Ruby and Nocturne of Shadow here. Yeah, I can't remember any instance of ever seeing bomb time stop in OOT, but I mean it could work and I just have never seen it. It's not exactly useful in OOT, so maybe it's just that no one would ever bother to try it anyway. So in normal runs I'd have stick equipped, and so I do a jump slash on the wall to enter the loading zone there. But I don't have stick equipped because of this next trick that I'm going to do. I want to leave bombs equipped so I can do a faster method to enter Shadow. So this is something that was found pretty recently-ish, only a month or two ago. It was found that if you set multiple bombs in the same spot, the bomb collision can push you, and with enough bombs it can push you a pretty significant amount actually. So I'm going to set 3 bombs right here and slide hop into them. And it actually pushes me past the load trigger for loading the bottom part of the graveyard, the part where the door loads and all the torches load. And so it allows me to go straight into Shadow Temple without using Din's Fire to open up the door and light the torches. Now, one side effect of this, at least route-wise, is that I don't have Bomb Chews equipped, because I usually equip Bomb Chews with Dins. So I have to do this Truth Spinner skip with bombs. Although it actually ends up saving, I think, 2 pauses, or 3 pauses? I don't know, I forgot. But it's quite a decent time save, because it saves pauses and skips using Din's Fire. Yeah, it's really cool. I think it only saves 5 seconds. It's actually not a huge time. Well, I think when I timed it to save 5 seconds, that was only entering Shadow. I don't think I timed the extra pauses it saves, so maybe a little bit more. The issue with doing it in real runs though is, one, you're side hopping on the stairs, and side hopping on stairs can be really dumb, and you'll mess up side hops because steep slopes like that can mess up your side hops. And also it uses 3 bombs in a place where your bomb count is already kinda tight. And so it's I want to do it in runs, but it's really just not a great idea. So I'm not sure about doing it in runs. Maybe if I'm on a run where like my bomb count is really good. So there's another cool trick here. I normally use the like to clip into the cage with the gold skeletal here, but I can instead do a weird shot off of the... There's an invisible spinning scythe statue there, so you can do a weird shot off it to hookshot the skeletal. So I actually got an extra accidental time save there. So normally when you do that strat, you're supposed to hookshot the like to get out of the weird shot, because if you just normally exit the weird shot, the like will usually eat you. I just happened to exit the weird shot right as the scythe was right above Link, and so it damaged Link so that I couldn't get eaten by the like, and so it saved a bit of extra time. So I actually messed up there. I actually was not supposed to do that, but it worked out. I got a cool clean roll right onto the ledge there. I didn't jump from the platform. It probably is faster to snipe the chest with hookshot if you're perfect, which, you know, like maybe I could have done it. I'm not really sure how realistic it is to aim that fast. It's pretty small. It's a pretty small difference either way, I'm pretty sure. Oh, good split. Dude, that was a split I really wanted to split on, because I really wanted to see how much time all those strats would save. Sorry. It's okay, I'll make it up on this split. 20 seconds? Okay, cool. Dang, that's a lot. What are you Monka S-ing for? I don't want to see any Monka S's. There's nothing to be worried about. Everything I'm about to do is very safe and not risky at all. Alright, so that was neat. Okay, so the bad thing about doing that is the Stalfos didn't jump off the boat, and so they're causing lag, and so I lost time to lag. But that doesn't matter. The important thing is that it was cool. And in the end, that's the important thing. I actually could have opened the door like a second faster. if you like maneuver your momentum in just the right way, you can get like right to the door. So I try to do this this bossy skip just with the basic 2 pause, no extra pauses. So the quick bongo kill here only works on N64 1.0 and 1.1, and this is done on VC, which is 1.2, so you can't do the quick bongo kill. So you have to just watch the cutscene. So you have to do the slow bongo fight. Why doesn't it work? I'm actually not sure. I don't really know why, like what exactly got fixed to make it not work. Like there are other glitches in like 1.0 and 1.1 exclusive glitches that there's a good reason for why they don't work anymore, but that one in particular I don't really know why. I'll split. You can put a 1.0 watt on your Wii, but that's not allowed for speedrunning, because that would make an unofficial hacked version the fastest version, which is an obvious no-no. I will split. I'll split when it's the correct time to split. I didn't roll to the heart container because that's part of the setup, is not to roll. You want to walk into it. It actually messes up your exact position if you roll into it. So I have 1 bomb here, and I use my final bomb to hest directly into the shop. Hope, I know. Like, when I saw the final time for this, it actually made me so sad that it's so much faster than what I can do. So that hest into the shop. I've been trying to put that into the run for a long time, but it's so awkward. Like, it's not just get this one certain angle and then you get it. It's like, I'm not sure exactly what it's based on, but the clip is super weird and not consistent at all, as far as I can tell. So, as much as I want to do that in runs, I can't really do it until we learn more about how that clip works. I don't know if this will push down my goal time. It's hard to say. But like, when I look at the final time of this compared to my current PB and my current sum of best, I'm just like, dude, I can do so much better, but I also can't because it's so hard, because, you know, this is obviously unrealistic, but I don't know, man. It's so weird thinking about how much time I actually could technically save. That bomb was actually just for making sure I don't grab the fence. If you don't pull a bomb there, then you grab the fence, and it just slows down your fall speed. So it's literally like a 2-frame time saver. The double Navi tech skip. The first one I have to pull out stick right as I hookshot the vines, then the second one I have to open the door right as I touch the ground after side hopping. Aren't you supposed to do this dungeon first? Yeah, if you're slow. So this is a relatively recent strat found not too long ago. This is a replacement for the old crawl space skip that used ledge cancel. You can just hookshot on the top of this torch, stand on the torch, do one shoe hover back, and then slide hop, and it clips you out of bounds. And then you just use hover boost to get to the crawl space, and then just go to the end. Easier, faster, cooler. So here I do a super slide off that grass. I can't pick up that grass because I don't have a strength upgrade, so I get warped back to it, but without my height changing, and I have ISG. So it warps me under the ground. Under the ground I can do a mega side hop and go straight to Goma's room. How hard is it to do ISG? ISG is the easiest frame perfect trick ever. All you do is you just crouch stab, wait like a quarter second, and then press A. It's frame perfect, but it's very easy. Yeah, ISG is frame perfect. That's why I hate when people try to use like whether something is frame perfect or not to determine if it's hard or not. ISG is the easiest example of something that is not hard even though it's frame perfect. Frame perfect does not matter on the frame rate of the game. Yes, frame perfect will be harder on a 60 FPS game than 20, but there can still be easy frame perfect tricks on 60 FPS games, and there can still be hard frame perfect things on 20 FPS games. There's a lot more that goes into difficulty than frame rate. And that's the entire point of why I said that in the first place. So there's a slightly new strat here. It's not really a strat, it's just like a difference of when you equip. I used to not unequip hover boots until I start falling here, but it turns out it's just faster to unequip hover boots earlier and just do the jump off. Well, you're technically watching me play, but I played while using lots of save states while recording, essentially recording a task, and you're just watching the playback of that task recorded onto a video. Obvious splice. Yeah, nice music splice. That's just because this was the beginning of a new segment recording. The reason I need that bomb for the super slide is to do a super slide you need something to grab and something to hit your shield. So just having the pot hit my shield isn't going to do anything. I need to be grabbing the bomb. Well, I'll be making a Human-Theory TAS for a randomizer. Should I TAS a randomizer? I think I actually could have done this room a little bit faster. I initially thought I did that room optimal because I got to the door in time, but I think I also killed the key slow, and killing the key slow probably delayed the door opening, but not a big deal. It probably was only like 1 second. Just hookshot the top here, and you can just clip out of the top. That keys can be kind of annoying sometimes. That keys is actually more annoying than usual when you're going faster than usual. Like, at the speed I normally do it in runs, is usually not too big of an issue, but going extra fast there is worse for that key specifically. That weird shot there, I hookshotted the wall behind the door. The wall I'm about to hookshot right now. You can still hookshot this even when the room isn't loaded. That's how I was able to do that weird shot. And open the door from behind. That's all just to get past the crawl space. I think a faster quest 100% task, or like Human-Theory task like this, would be about 245. Okay, there's a really cool trick here. So when this chest is falling, if you shoot the hookshot really quickly, you can shoot the hookshot. You can shoot the chest as it's falling, and hookshot over here during the cutscene. Super sick. I've actually gotten that. I thought that was something I would never get in runs, and I've actually gotten it in 2 runs. Hopefully, I can continue getting it in runs. So here's the whole Bosky skip, statue climb. So here, I think technically it would have been slightly faster for me to do a 2-bomb hover into ground clip for the Bosky skip here, but I stuck with a mega flip just because, like, one, I think it's cooler, two, it's probably like basically the same time, maybe like a second slower. And also bombs, or no, bombs definitely wouldn't be an issue, but yeah, I think overall it was probably the better option. Maybe I would, if I redid it, I might switch to the other method. But yeah, that Bosky skip works by just doing a mega flip and equipping iron boots, because the iron boots increase your downwards acceleration, and so by the time you hit the ground, you're going really fast both downwards and horizontally, or vertically, and your vertical and horizontal speed is both really high, and so that allows you to clip through the wall, clip through the door. So while waiting here, I break a few extra sticks. Yeah, this Human-Theory TAS is just to end the no PB streak, totally. That's the only reason I did this. I just want a fake PB. How many tries did Twinrova take to get a sufficient split? Surprisingly little time compared to what I thought it was going to be. I thought Twinrova was going to be a huge pain, but it actually wasn't too bad. So what I did for Twinrova is you can sort of manipulate RNG just by doing stuff with Navi, because Navi's particle effects affect the RNG a lot. So what I was doing is just, when I started the fight, I was just loading save states and doing different stuff with Navi to try to get a good shot. So the first shot here was a really quick one. There's a chance that one of them will just shoot from their initial position without moving, and I got that. I couldn't get a good double shot after that, but I'm actually going to get a triple right here. So you'll see me spam target with Navi. This targeting is just to try to manipulate the RNG, and then I got a double here. I was really scared because I got a double, but then the other one moved into a really bad position, but saved. And then, oh baby, a triple. So I actually thought this was going to take a long time, but I actually did not take very long at all to get a good Twinrova fight, which I thought was super surprising. I'm actually really interested to see what the split's going to be like. Part of me hopes I don't save too much, and part of me hopes I do. If I save a whole lot, I'm going to be kind of mad. Because, like, this split, there shouldn't be anything, like, super fast about the split besides my Twinrova luck. Like, otherwise, like, other gameplay-wise stuff, there shouldn't be anything, you know, unusually fast. So, any best split I get here is going to be entirely based on Twinrova luck. And so if I save, like, 20 seconds because I got a good Twinrova, I'm going to be so mad. No, Monk. I decided for the blue warp for the blue warp cutscene skips and wrong warps, I would always do the same setup I do in runs. Because my thought process was for setups and pause buffering, I thought I should basically just do it the same way I do it in runs, because the entire reason behind setups and pause buffering is, you know, to make tricks consistent, and, you know, most setups and pause buffering don't waste that much time, and so I thought, you know, realistically, you're probably still going to do them just so that they're nice and consistent. I'll split. Okay, only a few seconds. Not that mad. Normally there I do a super slide and then equip hover boost to that, but you can do it with just a mega flip. The thing with doing it with a mega flip is that it has to be a really precise mega flip. You can't just do like any old mega flip. And if you fail it, you lose so much time. So that's why I don't do it in runs, but you know, here obviously I should be doing it. I mean, it's not just getting a distance mega flip, it's getting a distance mega flip on the very edge. If you do a distance mega flip and you're not on the very edge, you'll still miss it. I don't think it's a frame perfect mega flip. I'm not sure though, I haven't looked into the frame data. I doubt it though. That spell is Nehru's Love. It's the one that makes you invincible, and is very useless. Just Wasteland Hessen here. Just gotta remember exactly where to go with the Hess. This took about 5 days to make. So for this second half here, when you get to the end, when you get to the River of Sand, normally with Hess speed, the angle of the river is too steep and it'll cancel your Hess. What I do here is I take a really wide angle, so I'm like almost parallel with it, and then I can just kind of slide over the outer rim. I might actually want to look into doing that in runs. It's still kind of risky because if you do have a bad angle, then you will, if you have a bad angle, you will fall, and then you have to equip hover boots as a backup. Good time save. Okay, so here's another part where I got a desync. So turns out save stating while setting for Aurora's Wind can cause desyncs. Oh yeah, I got this cool thing here where I opened the chest a frame after setting for Aurora's Wind, and so I got that interesting camera. So from everything here to like the end of Child 3, I had to do twice. Or end of Adult 2, beginning of Child 3. So this entire next like 15 minutes I had to do twice. But I did it faster the second time, so that's good. What I mean by desync is when you create a task, all you're doing is you're creating a list of inputs that the game will play back in the exact same order every time. And if you do the same inputs every time, then you should get the same result every time. But sometimes there are just very tiny things that go wrong, tiny things that don't add up exactly as they're supposed to. And then if one tiny thing goes wrong, then everything after that is going to go wrong. And that's what a desync is. So for example, the way it desynced for me is this guard fight coming up in just a second. The guard, when I shot the hookshot, the guard didn't jump straight into the torch like she's supposed to. And because she didn't jump straight into the torch, I couldn't kill her like this. And then like it still played the rest of the inputs like I did finish the fight correctly, but the fight was still going on, and so Link just was like, you know, running into walls, slashing nothing. It is funny. A desync is pretty funny when it happens. Desyncs are fun to watch. So how much you have to redo in the event of a desync depends on how you're exactly doing the task. For this one in particular, I was doing it in roughly 30-minute chunks or so. And so worst case scenario, I would only have to redo up to Spirit Temple. But what you could also do is just play it back. If you have a save state before the desync, then you could just load that save state. Or you could play it back up to right before the desync, and then at that desync, you start recording again, and then hopefully it would sync the next time. Which is what I did. I would just play it back until I found the exact point where it desynced, and then I would save a state right before the desync, and then play again from there and hope it synced the second time. Yeah, I heard about the new 1000-Year Door task being made because of Blimp Ticket Skip. I'm really excited for that. Sounds like it'll be cool. Am I really gonna save 10 seconds here? Oh my god. I want to allow ducks. It's just like there's I think Dry said there was like issues with making an exception for ducks, but I want to allow ducks. Cool little trick there. You can do a backward slide hop into jump slash to clip into GTG early. VIP him? That's a good idea. Next time I see his name, I'll VIP him. So this is a trick I used to do in runs, but actually took out. To set a bomb down here, then set another bomb and super slide off it. And this way you go straight to the entrance really quick. I used to do that, but I would just fail at every run. Like, it's a super cool trick, but I just had to eventually cut it out. But here it is. I didn't have to split up all the save states, because it's not me taking like each save state split up into one video. After I'm done with all the save stating, I play back the recording in the game. The game is recording a macro as I'm using the save states. And then it just plays back the macro with all the inputs in the correct order without the save states. And then I just record that playback of the macro. So the first game you only need to get 1,000. So I just waste my arrows as quickly as possible because the game ends when you waste all your arrows. But for the second and third games, I have to get 2,000. I can't just not get 2,000. So earlier in the run, I got a glitched quiver. I tried to upgrade my glitched quiver by winning this game, but things go wrong when you try to win a glitched quiver. Or try to win a quiver upgrade with a glitch quiver, and by things go wrong, I mean opening a chest to get a spooky mask. And then here I need to actually get the upgraded quiver, so I do RBA with Kajiro. This is gonna give me a real 30 arrow quiver. Now that the game sees I have a 30 arrow quiver, it can give me the upgrade, which I receive then. But I get the upgrade while the Gerudo is off screen, so that the game does not set the flag that says I did get the upgrade. This means that I can play the game again and actually win the upgrade. I can win the upgrade a second time. So I'm gonna play this one more time. Casual 2000. Then I have a fish on B right now. I need to switch it back to my real bottle, my bottle on C down. And I do that while also having milk on C right, which RBAs bombs, which gives me 20 bombs. So in normal runs, I'd actually just equip Ocarina to play Prelude here, but instead I do Ocarina items. This saves like a tiny bit of time. It's really not significant at all. But it's a tiny time save because later on I have to equip Ocarina and Longshot. And I can also use that equip for equipping hover boots, which just lets me clip into double defense a little bit faster without wasting an extra pause. But it's also like slightly slower movement wise. So like, I think it's still faster overall, but it kind of evens out. It's not a huge amount faster. I think I'd prefer still not to do it in runs. How many times did Epona weirdness force me to reload a state? Surprisingly not actually too often. I was having trouble getting on Epona right after a Gerudo Training Grounds. like riding opponent up to the archery. But other than that, not really too many issues. But I definitely was expecting some. I thought opponent was going to be worse. This took about 5 days to make. It took from Monday to Saturday. Although, like, Monday I barely did anything. I just did, like, the very beginning on Monday. It was more like Tuesday to Saturday. Fast request Human-Theory TAS. Well, the thing about fast request is apparently you can't really mix GZ and fast request because both of them use some of the extra expansion pack space, but they don't. There's not enough extra expansion pack space for both the extra stuff from fast request and GZ. So you can't really mix them. I think you probably could like take some parts of GZ and not the whole thing and put it onto fast request, but that'd probably require someone manually doing that, like Link or Krim, and I'm not sure if they really want to do that. Just add another expansion pack. Show PB splits. Oh yeah, so splits are now completely synced, so there's no more route change issues. So let's check PB splits. I am 11 minutes ahead of PB. Dude, it's so crazy that I can actually save that much time. Ika, thanks for the $20 donation. Thanks, glad you enjoy it. I'll do rando again sometime soonish, maybe. So here's where that time save I mentioned from not equipping Ocarina earlier. So I can equip Ocarina, Longshot, and Hover Boots here. And this just lets me do a slightly faster clip into double defense. Or in normal runs I would use a bomb to clip in. But then you have to do this movement with hover boots, which isn't too bad, like it's not that slow. Yeah, I think technically this should be faster, but my main issue with this strat is that you do bomb OI. And I mean, bomb OI obviously isn't hard or anything, but it's just like, I don't know, it's scary to fail. And then plus you also lose one bomb in a section where your bomb count is, it's not super tight, but it's a little bit tight. Well, I don't know, it would probably, I'm pretty sure it only saves like a second at most, maybe 2. So it's not exactly anything crazy. Oh, not bomb OI, ESS OI. ESS OI with a bomb. Why do I do this part now and not at the end of the game? Because I never come back here later. This is the last time I'm anywhere near Ganon's castle, aside from the escape. In addition to that, I'm going to have to use Furore's Wind soon, and I can use Ganon's castle to use Furore's Wind by going into Ganon's tower. You can't use Furore's Wind in the Trials section, but you can in the tower section. So it's a good place to use Furore's Wind when I no longer have Furore's Wind on B. Which I guess I should mention, the item I have on B right now is Poacher's Saw. I got that on B during the Light Arrow cutscene, where during the Light Arrow cutscene there's a flashback where it shows Child Link again, and that actually counts as going back in time and forward in time. And so it activates Bottle Adventure, where it puts an item on my B button based on my C right item is Child. Child had Ruto's letter on C right, I had 50 arrows, and so it puts item 50 on B, which is Poacher's Saw. Okay, so here's another strat I don't normally do. This is another one of the, like, maybe I shouldn't have done it strats, but I think it's really cool. So I do a Hess up to that door, and I hit left on the stick and try to open the door at the same time, and it pushes you really far away from the door because of like the recoil from ending the Hess. And so it causes entrance point glitch, where the door doesn't close fully until Link gets a certain distance away from it. And so I can walk into the wall and force the door to close as I'm walking towards the wall. This resets my respawn position to be towards the wall, so when I void out here, I'm just gonna walk through the wall. Oh, split. I lost time? Oh, that's probably because of the slight route change thing. So I walk through the wall, and I'm in this room unloaded, and I can just do a mega flip. And this mega flip is gonna take me straight to the trials, because the entire right wall of Ganon's tower is marked as a loading zone to go into the tower. So I can just mega flip straight towards it, and no need for like the hover for trial skip. And I have to go in there specifically to use Furore's Wind, because again, Furore's Wind can't be used in the trial area. And luckily I had Furore's Wind set at Gerudo Fortress from earlier, which allows me to warp back here very fast. Yeah, no more route changes. And so now I can just give this guy Poacher's Saw, get Broken Goron Sword. No, you can't mega flip into the tower when the room is loaded because the barrier blocks you. I mean, if you remove the barrier, then yeah, you can. Well, I think technically you can mega flip to it, even with the barrier up, but it's like a super precise mega flip. So there you can just mega flip straight down to this heart piece. Pretty cool. And save warp. Now it's time to go back to Child. I think a real TAS of this could probably get around 315 to 320. Maybe even lower, honestly. Or maybe even higher. Good split. Yeah, just for reference, the current 100% TAS is 347. It was made back in 2015. This is already guaranteed to beat it by, you know, a pretty significant amount. So it's pretty old. Been outdated since it came out. Dude, I can't VIP Dux because it deletes his entire message as soon as he types anything. So I can't even click on his name. Yeah, let me copy the whole thing. I'll just have to do it manually. Gold Splits Mean Ducks is banned from this channel. Okay, unban. VIP. Okay, now he's VIP. Wait, VIP won't work? Will it really not? Try it. Let me see. No, dude. F. I guess I'll have to mod him. Alright, ducks, just don't do anything bad. Bad. You're only allowed to post ducks. Well, I'm pretty sure the reason I didn't get a best split on Gauntlets is because I did an extra pause. But that extra pause would just normally be in the Light Arrow cutscene split. So it's not that like that split wasn't good, it's just that the order I did stuff threw it off. And also probably because of the entrance point glitch. Entrance point glitch probably cost time there, but saved time on Child 3. Yeah, I did get the super swim off the Tektite in the grotto. Yes, I got a quick Ocarina Dive. Look at that quick Ocarina Dive. And split. Loppy ear Hess. Okay, so here I actually got the Tektite Super Swim here. This was really annoying to actually get. This is something I've only gotten twice ever in 2 runs. I've never actually even gotten it in practice. Right there. Love that strat. Yeah, Fino, this is the playback. So I actually got a, when doing this section, I actually got a desync here, but luckily I realized it pretty much right after I left the grotto. So the only thing I had to redo was this grotto. Because I realized I save stated while using Din's Fire, and save stating while using Din's Fire is a cause for desyncs. So right here, there's actually a strat I could have done where you can Mega Flip to this box. But the Mega Flip is really precise and really stupid and hard. I think it's probably one of those strats that just isn't even realistic for this kind of thing. But it exists. Oh no, the run is over, I fell off. Haha, JK. Yeah, splits are some of best. No, Twitch doesn't allow 3-character accounts, or it doesn't allow making an account with a 3-character name. It's a 4-character minimum. But you can get name changes to 3 characters. I'm actually surprised I saved that much time, because I thought my best split there was actually incredible. I thought that was like one of my best splits, one of my best splits. So I'm surprised I still saved almost 10 seconds. Or actually no, it's less than that, because I split late on Ocarina, never mind. After this run's over, I'm gonna have to go back and fix a few splits. First try hard piece. Yeah, you guys like that aim? I actually used to use that strat in runs where I shoot the red rupees like right as they're coming out of the corner. But I eventually just started failing more and more, so I stopped doing it. But maybe I should go back to doing it. Like, it's not even that hard, it's just like, you have to time it based on an audio cue, and not a visual cue, so it's just kind of weird. Richard Z. So it's possible to skip the second wall for the Bombchu bowling, but it's super precise. You have to stand in like this really specific spot. So I just did not think it was realistic to go for. And I also didn't want to spend that much time going for it, because good split, because it'd be super dumb to do. Yeah, lensless chess game. So I just thought for fun I'd do this without lens, even though I have it equipped, just because, you know, I have save states, why not? So when I was doing this with save states, 4 out of the 5 chests I got wrong first try. Only one of them I got correct first try. Are you serious? Did I forget to splice this correctly? No, dude. How long is this wasting? Oh my god, I'm so mad. How many? Okay, that was only like 5 extra seconds. Okay, so you can cut off 5 extra seconds. I thought that was gonna be worse. I actually thought that was gonna be like 20 extra seconds or longer. Whatever, I'm not going back to fix that. That wasn't too big of a deal. Stop throwing, yeah. Another throw. Yeah, I gotta get Dry to do the splicing. He's the pro. Hey, at least no one can suspect me of splicing my real runs anymore. It'd be a lot more obvious. Just throwing you guys off, yeah. I just intentionally spliced poorly to make people not suspect me. Speaking of splicing poorly, Ocarina game is coming up. I tried to minimize the awkwardness of the Ocarina game splice, but it's gonna be... It's not that bad, but it's noticeable. The bomb count went up because I caught bugs on my B button with milk on C right, and doing that, having milk on C right when catching something in a B bottle modifies your bomb count, and catching bugs with milk on C right gives me 29 bombs. So I only equip fire arrows there because it saves a pause. If I equip slingshot there, I'd have to do another pause later on to unequip slingshot, because then I would delete slingshot with RBA. But by having fire arrows equipped, I'm not going to delete anything. I'll split. Okay, so check out this splice. How noticeable was that? Yeah, obvious audio splice, yeah. I at least synced it up with the camera movement. Okay, so the reason I had to splice that section is because it turns out the Ocarina game is just impossible to sync with the current way tassing works on GZ. Something about Ocarina game, I don't know if we know exactly what it is right now, but something about Ocarina game just does not sync properly. And so I actually had to record this in real time. Like, this is not... What we're watching right now is not a task playback, it's actually me playing the Ocarina game normally. Yeah, surprisingly it was not the RNG, so apparently RNG is not what affects the Ocarina game. At least based on what I can infer from the desyncs. Glink, have you looked into it yet? Do you know, like, what's going on yet? No, I didn't take it from an old run. I was going to, but I thought I should probably just do it with this run, so it'll be easier to line up everything with, like, hearts and magic and ammo counts. Not yet? Okay. Riveting gameplay. Yeah, I just had to splice this in with actual gameplay, not a task playback. This is actually me playing when I recorded this. Alright, get ready for another splice. Totally clean splice. Seamless. It wasn't terrible. Yeah, it could have been worse. If you listen closely though, you can hear there's like an owl who that gets cut off. At least I tried, yeah. Oh yeah, cool strat here. You can do a Navi dive here. A little bit faster than doing a regular dive. Well, the tells for the splices were more audio splices, so like if you pay more attention to the audio, you'll probably notice it. I tried to make it decent. I tried to make it a pretty decent cut for the visual part of the splice. Why no split for frogs? It just seems kind of pointless considering there's not much left after this split to Adult 3. And I definitely want to split at Adult 3. No, there's no faster order for playing the frog songs. On N64, I think there might be a certain order you want to play it in based on lag. Because I think like Song of Storms causes more lag, so you might want to play that first or something like that. I actually never got around to fully testing it, but I still suspect that lag might affect the most optimal order on N64. So this is earlier than I play Sunsong for normal runs. I usually play Sunsong right after I get the heart piece. But I actually found out at the end, like when I get Big Goron Sword, turns out that no matter where I play Sunsong, it'll always be faster to play an extra Sunsong at Big Goron Sword with completely optimal play. So, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything for this. I still did it, you know, the most optimal I could, but it means that, like, technically, when you're completely optimal, doing the extra Sunsong here instead of later doesn't really save time. Which is moderately interesting. But like under normal circumstances, 95% of the time it's gonna save time. So for all the bugs in this, I try to make sure that every soft soil patch was optimal bug digging, so I got all the good bugs, all the good bug digs. That's a lot of time save. Dude, I don't understand where so much of these time saves are coming from. Actually, that one in particular was probably from bugs, now that I think about it. Because there's two soil spots in that split, and both of them were optimal. And the Navi dive, yeah. Although the Navi dive is like 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, so this split in particular is probably not going to be a best split because I have to end up doing that extra sun song. Because this split is entirely dependent on what your time of day is for the previous split. How is this compared to PB? Let's check. I am 13 minutes ahead of PB. What's on the B button right now? Eye drops, can't you see? So, the last time I was adult I had bottle on B. That means, you know, going back and forward in time is going to put a different item on my B button. Based on my C right item as child, again. The last thing I equipped as child was Broken Goron Sword. And that points to a part of my inventory that has all the medallions and some songs. And the total item value, the total item count of all those values added together was 253. So that glitchy item I have on my B button is item 253, which happens to act like eye drops. And you can't give eye drops to Big Goron immediately. It's not like you can just give it to him and skip the whole quest. He only accepts eye drops if the item in your trade item slot is prescription or higher in the trade quest. So that's why I had to get the Broken Goron Sword, because I get the Broken Goron Sword, I give him the Broken Goron Sword, he gives me prescription, and as soon as I have prescription in my inventory, I can then give him the fake eye drops to get a claim check. Still have to wait 3 days. Yeah, so again, no best split here because it's based on the previous split time of day. This will not soft lock after Fire Temple. So for this pause right here, I normally equip hover boots here. I decided at the time whether or not it was faster to equip hover boots or not, and not equipping hover boots was faster by like 7 frames. I think for regular speedruns I'm still going to equip hover boots because that's so small and hover boots are just much easier to just move around the room with. But I guess Kukuri boots is just a tiny bit faster here. Because the thing is, you have, for that jump right there, you have to jump slash. And that costs you a lot of time over hover boots. But I'm still going to stick with hover boots for that room. Yeah, there's a handful of tricks that this run does that my PB doesn't, or the general strats that I use in regular runs. But there's nothing like huge. They're all, you know, a few seconds here and there. There's not like one minute or 2 minute time saver or several minute time saver that I don't do. It's all just it's all small things that add up. Yes, Hess works with iron boots on. In fact, you do not go any slower with iron boots on. One trip on the well is the biggest thing that I do in this Human-Theory task that I don't do in regular runs. But even that is only like 15 seconds. Like a 15-second time save overall. Although actually it might be closer to 20 seconds because I realized that bomb shoot thing. I think that bomb shoot thing wasn't taken into account in the original timing, where you don't have to get the bomb shoot reward from the House of Skulltula. No, I should not do one trip bomb the well from now on. There was one day where I decided I would give one trip bomb of the well a shot in runs. I did runs with it for one day. I got one single run past bomb of the well. All day, one run got past it. And so no, I am not going to do that in runs. I need a lot more runs to get past Bomb of the Well than one a day. How many tries did it take to get the key stubber? It actually didn't take too many tries. Like, the key stubber, it probably took me less than, I don't know, 10 tries or something. Like, the thing about that key stubber is, it's not extremely difficult. It's just that it's random. And it's just unpredictable because of, well, it's not unpredictable. Like, there's only a small handful of possibilities that could happen. It's just that if it's random whether or not the good possibility happens, then it's just unrealistic to do in a run consistently. Because if the keys just doesn't behave, then, well, you're screwed. You gotta leave the room and re-enter, and then you lost all your possible time save. I don't hookshot that climb because you cannot hookshot it. It is just not hookshotable. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, when I climbed the gate there, I took damage from the torch slug. That's really important, because if you don't take damage from that torch slug, then the wrong warp later on will crash. Well, soft lock. It's a very complicated thing about how when you do a wrong warp, the game saves, or the game looks at certain data based on your last cutscene watched, and the place where the game stores the last cutscene watched can be overwritten by other data, and the general data that gets overwritten there from the segment where you play Bolero up to the wrong warp, if you don't get hit by that torch slug, will typically result in data that will cause a soft lock. But by getting hit by the torch slug and causing Link to get burned, that instead overwrites it with good data that will not cause a soft lock. It's more that specifically you need to get burned before using Furora's Wind, and that torch slug is just the easiest way to get burned. But as long as you can just get burned before using Furora's Wind, or I think it has to be after a certain point also. I forgot when it has to be after. There's a certain point between where it needs to be before you use Furora's Wind, but after some other earlier point. During that time frame, you have to get burned, and that torch slug is just the best way. Like these torch slugs, it would be too late. The damage would already be done. Why is the icon for Castle Escape sold out? Because I don't know what other icon to put for it, and it's like sold out because like you're out of the castle. That's like the closest thing I can come to for. That's like the closest thing I can have a real reason for. But I mean, really, it's basically just because I like the sold out icon. The 4 seconds lost on Bigorn Sword is because the time save on that split is based on the time of day from the previous split. It just means I was too fast on the previous split. So like, if you have a fast previous split, then the Bigorn Sword split is going to be slower, or vice versa. These risky rolls. I'm not sure if those rolls were human-like. I don't know if humans would risk those rolls in a run. Yeah, if you use Master Sword, or if you use Sold Out on a C button or B button, it acts as Master Sword. So I can get a cool one-cycle Volvagia here. The Volvagia has 2 hitboxes, one for the air Volvagia, one from the hole Volvagia. And the air Volvagia hitbox is under the last hole it flew into. So I just use nuts and shoes to blow up that hole. Do a bunch of damage, one cycle. Nice and quick. Yeah, I was pretty surprised at how much time save there was in this run. I wasn't actually expecting this much time save. I finished this on Saturday night. Time for the wrong warp. So for this wrong warp, I decided I would not buffer the Z press here. Because it's a 2-frame window, it's really not that hard to not buffer. I did buffer this though, I think you definitely want to buffer this. And now for collapse skip. So this collapse skip is actually going to be a little bit faster than usual. There's a cool strat here. Nice hesitation on the unpause. That was probably save state lag. So So you can actually do a short hover here, and then turn to angle a side hop and go straight to the loading zone. So the thing that's kind of risky about doing that strat in a run is that I think it's a 2-frame window for each of the hovers, which isn't too bad, but it's like if you happen to miss it, then if you void out, you go back to Fire Temple. You don't even reload that room, you go back to Fire Temple, so you really cannot afford to fail it. So it's like, it's not that bad, but at the same time, it's like if you fail it, then oh my god. And it doesn't even save that much time. Like, I saved 6 seconds there, which, I mean, 6 seconds is a good amount of time, but that's with, like, doing it perfect. Well, I mean, I guess there was a hesitation on the unpause. Dead run for 6 seconds, yeah? I wish there was some kind of like super cool risky strat I could do with Ganon, but the whole Ganon fight's just pretty standard. I actually think this might not even be a best split, because I think my Ganon best is pretty optimized. Z. No, dude, I'm gonna be barely below 6 minutes saved. No, I didn't save time. Well, there you go. So, if a human played perfectly and did all the best strats that could realistically be done by a human, you can get a 339. It would be very difficult. Oh yeah, minus the 5 seconds because of that failed splice. Okay, so really this is like 339.14 or something. Just play perfectly. But yeah, I was actually not expecting this much time save. It's actually crazy to think that like my PB is 353. I can literally save 14 minutes. But like obviously I can't really, but it's like I don't know, it's so crazy to think about how much time save there actually is left. In theory. The reason summon best is 337 is because of route change issues. I have to like go back and fix the splits. If anyone's curious, I think I'll upload these splits and put it in the description of the YouTube video when I upload this. I'll fix it up and, you know, have the correct splits for all the splits I missed. Does this make me sad because I'm not fast anymore? Yes and no. It's like, obviously, I shouldn't, you know, be anywhere near expecting to play like this. But it's like, I thought my sum of best was good, and I just beat it by 6 minutes. So it's like, dude, I can be so much faster, but it's so hard. I don't know. The hundo hell, yeah. It's the hundo trap. You can always keep going faster. Just gotta play perfectly for 4 hours. That's all you gotta do. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is really gonna change my goal. But, I don't know, it's like... There's some things I want to look into a second time. I want to look into if I can get closer to some of these splits. Because there's a handful of splits where like I didn't really do any different strats and I still saved a lot of time, so there's a few things I might want to look into and just see if I can get better at. I'm definitely not incorporating one-trip bomb the well. There are some other things that I want to at least look into incorporating, but nothing for sure yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this, guys. Guess that's the end for today. Anyway,